We'll get into chapter 21, Biyu at the Bazaar.
Chapter 21 opens up with Volke training with the new sword. So he freshly made Retribution and is trying to get used to it. It's a different length, a slightly different setup from what he's used to. Joze also gives him a nullstone sheath and explains a little bit about imbuing with nullstone. So one of the reasons that's important is that it keeps the sword from being found from any mystical creatures that would recognize it or other ways to recognize magic. And the other interesting component with nullstone is it does require extra star shards to be able to imbue with. So this sheath, very important, but also cost a little bit extra to make. We do get a little bit of interaction with Volke and the rest of his crew. So Fain talking with Volke a little bit while he's invisible to give him some inner advice on the workings on the ship. Adelgis is pretty much sequestering himself in the room. He is trying to deduce his dad's location from the letters that they find. And it's eventually 3 days passing where Volke and Fain are training and Adelgis is on his own. So Volke is kind of losing a little bit of control with his terrors. We have a moment where he does accidentally impact some of the crew. He's has a negative feeling about this and feels like it has to do with succumbing to the plague and a little bit of difference in his magic changing. He does happen to notice that Biyu is trying to sneak off of the ship. He tails after her, and when he questions her, she's going to buy the captain a present, which is just the sweetest thing that she could be doing. So Volke does agree that him, Fain, will accompany her so that she can buy the present. And one of the cutest moments that she has is she does end up petting Wraith's skull, and she asks him what his favorite food is, and he almost replies with human flesh.
You know, I bet this would probably taste better than what they've been given on the ship so far.
Yeah, they've had some hardtack and some biscuits that are more rock than biscuit. So while they are out going to the shops, there's a group of children that are running around. They end up bunching into Volke. They're pretending to be arcanists, and Volke has a slight interaction with them before he realizes that Biyu is nowhere to be found, and eventually finds out that it's Calisto's crew that has kidnapped Biyu.
Because, of course, why wouldn't Calisto be here?
He's just always tailing along, too. He loves Volke as well, so he followed him here.
When I was reading this part about the children pretending to be arcanists, I was expecting something to like be missing or stolen or something like that. I'm trying to remember when I was reading this, I was like, what is important that's on him right now that could be stolen?
That was the first thing I thought of as well. And I was like, well, he doesn't have his guild pendant. He threw that away. So his trinket's broken. So I was wondering what was going to get stolen as well.
Right. And with this being the middle of the book, I believe we're actually going to be taking a break from the book this week. Next week, we are going to have our sit down with John Stovall, who is Shammy's husband, and being an author himself as well. So definitely looking forward to that interview. And then the week following, we'll be right back into 26 through 30 of Plague Arcanist. We're actually already halfway through this book, believe it or not.
Moving along.
And we thank you so much. See you next week.
Eric, Scott, and I want to thank everyone for listening today. We post a new episode every Wednesday morning at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, and 8 Pacific Standard Time. We are on all podcasting platforms and are also on YouTube as well for video. After the additional episode airs, we post chapter-by-chapter videos every day in a smaller, easier-to-digest format. We do want to give a special shout-out to the final member of our team, Dan Mackison, one of the admins for the Frith Chronicles Wiki, link listed below, and doing his best to keep everything running smoothly behind the scenes. If you want to reach out to us, you can email us at frithguildpod@gmail.com or on Facebook or any other social media by searching for Frith Guild Podcast. Just to remind everybody, we have links to everything in the description below on both the podcast and YouTube. Scott, do you have anything else you want to add this week?
Nope, getting ready for this labyrinth.
Woo!